This week on Inside Boulder News, voters show support for city priorities. A destructive pest takes root in Boulder's ash trees. Firefighters work to protect residents from a silent killer, and the community says goodbye to two leaders who helped us understand our world through science. Welcome to Inside Boulder News. I'm Ashley Prill. Boulder voters let their voices be heard this week at the ballot box, passing every city council-supported initiative by wide margins. The measures included competing questions related to the possible creation of a local electric utility. Supporters say a city-owned utility would be able to increase renewable sources of energy and decrease harmful greenhouse gas emissions. Voters agreed 2-1 to support the ongoing exploration of this idea, while also approving some additional requirements related to costs and possible out-of-county customers. Inside Boulder News spoke with Regional Sustainability Coordinator Jonathan Cohen about what's up next as the city continues to study ways to achieve the community's energy goals.
So as we move forward now, there's a lot of work that's going to take place on the legal front, mostly around the acquisition of the assets that we would need to buy from Xcel Energy to create the new utility. But at the same time, we'll begin the process of developing what we are calling kind of the business model of what the utility would look like and how it would function if we do indeed create the utility. So obviously this is a pretty complicated issue. There's a lot of moving pieces to it, so we really encourage people to either pick up the phone and call someone in the Energy Future office or get on our website, which is Energy Future, bouldersenergyfuture.com. And we have all of our analyses, all of the memos that have gone to City Council, and a lot of details there. We want this to be a very strong community-involved process. It has been up to this point, and so if people have questions, we want to make sure they're reaching out.
The community's energy goals weren't the only ones voters were asked to evaluate this year. Several tax measures passed that will have significant impacts on open space, transportation, general city services funding, and the ability to implement retail marijuana regulations in Boulder.
This was a long-range impact over many years, so it really goes to the sustainable fiscal aspects of the city. That's why it was so important. The reason the city, for this flood that we just had, the reason we're in such good shape financially compared to many others is that we had set aside reserves. We had matched those ongoing expenditures to ongoing revenues. We didn't use one-time money to pay for ongoing costs. And that's really put the city in the position it was for the flood. So we need to continue that.
More information about these and other ballot initiatives can be found at bouldercolorado.gov/elections. Voters also filled 5 seats on City Council, choosing 3 newcomers and re-electing 2 veteran members. The new council will officially be sworn in on November 19th at 10 a.m. The ceremony will be broadcast live on boulderchannel8.com and Comcast Channel 8. An exotic beetle responsible for killing millions of ash trees across the United States is now living in Boulder. In late September, members of Boulder's Forestry Division discovered the emerald ash borer feasting on an ash tree within city limits. Boulder is the first city this far west of the Mississippi to make this worrisome find.
That's the phone call you don't ever want to receive when it comes to trees. Emerald ash borer, it doesn't really get much worse than emerald ash borer.
It's an invasive species, so it doesn't have any natural enemies, and it's discovered a food source that it just loves. And if enough emerald ash borer gets around a tree and they feed under the bark enough, it'll eventually girdle the tree and kill it.
Ash trees, they're a tough urban tree. I mean, they're able to survive living in an urban environment. You know, the heat island effect, the being surrounded by concrete, the air pollution, they're able to survive. So to have that tree taken out of the equation for us, it's going to be difficult.
In order to understand the full extent of the infestation, the city is collecting branch samples from local ash trees. Each branch will be examined closely for the presence of the emerald ash borer. To help prevent further spreading, the Colorado Department of Agriculture will be imposing and enforcing a quarantine on the movement of all ash tree products and hardwood firewood out of Boulder County by November 12th. For educational material about the emerald ash borer, log on to eabcolorado.com. Public safety officials are keeping a close eye on potential dangers as residents impacted by the recent floods work to stay warm this winter. This includes making sure that early warning systems like carbon monoxide detectors are available to those in need. Thanks to a generous donation, 100 families and individuals will now be able to replace this life-saving device.
Boulder Fire Rescue was recently donated about 100 carbon monoxide detectors on a first-come, first-served basis to residents in need. Known as the silent killer, carbon monoxide sneaks up on you, causing nausea, dizziness, weakness, and confusion. The only way you can actually detect this invisible odorless gas is with a carbon monoxide alarm.
Hey Kim, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
I invited Kim to my house to show me the best locations to install CO detectors. Anywhere from the ceiling to a ground-level outlet are all places that carbon monoxide alarms can be placed.
It's so prevalent all around, and again, people do not realize that they're being exposed to it or have been exposed to it until sometimes, you develop symptoms.
Outside of bedrooms is best because safety in sleeping areas is key. However, they should never be installed near a stove or furnace because the gas released from these appliances can set off a false alarm.
If you have a wood-burning stove or propane heater, if you have gas stove in your kitchen, all those different types of gas-fed appliances, then you have risk to have carbon monoxide in your house.
This is especially important for individuals and families whose homes were damaged by the floods. That's why Kim reached out to Kidda, who generously donated the alarms to Boulder Fire Rescue.
The first round, we wanted to be very clear and make sure that you're a city resident. Second of all, that you were affected by the floods.
If you discover dangerous levels of carbon monoxide in your home, get out and call 911.
Just like we tell people with fires, make sure you get outside. Everyone in the house is outside quickly and call 911. Then we can actually go in and measure the gas level in the house and determine if, sometimes it's just someone's battery that needs to be changed. That's the case, then that's an easy fix.
Boulder Fire Rescue will be offering these alarms free to the public once there are no more requests from flood victims. Contact Kim Scott at 303-441-4355 or email her at scottk@bouldercolorado.gov to make a request. Members of the community gathered this past weekend to honor the legacies of two influential Boulder natives. Astronaut Scott Carpenter and physics professor Al Bartlett left us with important lessons about space, the deep sea, and the impacts of world population growth. Scott Carpenter, who reached legendary status in 1962 when he became the second American to orbit the Earth, died on October 10th. His contributions have been recognized by the city with both the Scott Carpenter Park and Pool. In 2012, the famed astronaut attended the rededication of his namesake park in the celebration of his 50th anniversary of his orbiting the Earth. Boulder is also celebrating the life and contributions of a local scholar who made an impact a little closer to Earth. Al Bartlett, who is often considered the founding father of limited growth initiatives and a key player in preserving Boulder's open space, died on September 7th. 5 million viewers on YouTube know Al Bartlett as the man behind arithmetic, population, and energy. This lecture on world population growth debuted in the 1960s, and there's little doubt it will echo well beyond the professor's passing. Before his death, Bartlett requested that any memorial gifts be made to the University of Colorado Foundation Albert A. Bartlett Scholarship Fund in care of the Department of Physics. Thank you for watching Inside Boulder News. Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter by submitting news tips and questions. You can also sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannel8.com and click on subscribe.